But anyway, we just saw Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Red Jedi.
There aren't any more Jedi because this one had the last one in it.
Mm-hmm.
Last one I want to see.
So this movie had one job, right?
Uh-huh.
And it failed. Because it's the second one in this new reboot.
It's supposed to
And
be the
Lando
dark
is
one.
not in it.
Oh.
So 0 space eggs out of 12.
Every time I think of Attack of the Clones, that's usually my one problem with it too, is there's no Lando.
There's no Lando.
Whenever I watch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I think, where's Lando? Where is he? Where's Lando?
Whenever Rogue One,
whenever
Rogue One 2 comes out, Rogue 2, Lando better be in it.
When I watched Predator 2, I was like, where's Lando? Movie's almost over. Predator's about to explode. Where is he?
When I saw Stuart Little 2, I was really happy that Lando was there.
It's basically 1 a.m. We're
That
all
movie
tired.
is 4 years long. This whole video, which is gonna be the length of a movie, is spoilers. I'm not
here
even
on out.
Yeah, like we didn't really like the movie that much, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I hate it. I just, I've got a lot of problems with it, and I think eventually I might.
It's
you're gonna hate it.
Oh, you're gonna hate it once everyone comes out.
You're gonna hate it by the end of the video.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the prequels. Well, I love the prequels, but, I mean, because they're hilarious.
Prequels are magnificent movies.
New Hope is one of the best movies ever made.
It's a great film.
Empire Strikes Back is one of the best movies ever made. I think Return of the Jedi stinks. I don't like it. I think Rogue One's terrible. And I like The Force Awakens a lot. Like, I like The Force Awakens a ton. So going into this one, I like Force Awakens a lot, even though it's directed by J.J. Abrams, and I don't like a lot of his movies.
Why are we talking about Super 8?
And then this one is directed by Rian Johnson, and I was like, that's a sweet choice, because Rian Johnson understands, like, really dark drama. Like, I really like that movie Brick that he made. Brick's sweet, because it's dark and it's fucked up and it's weird. They made Looper, and that first half of Looper is great, and that second half is a big steaming pile of shit. That first half of Looper is awesome. And he also directed Ozymandias, the episode of Breaking Bad, which is one of the saddest, darkest, most heart-wrenching episodes of anything ever. And it's
Also
super...
one of the best episodes of the show.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome. It's the highest rated episode of the show on IMDb. So I was like, Rian Johnson knows how to make some twisted shit. This guy knows human fucking drama. He knows how to make you give a shit about a character and put them in a horrible position. I was like, sweet. So if this is the second part of a trilogy, it's supposed to be the darkest one. Rian Johnson's a really good decision. I bet this movie's gonna be sweet.
Sam Slade, what did you think going into Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi?
It's a long title. I mean, I guess similarly to Brian, I didn't have too much experience with Rian Johnson. I was like, he's a pretty capable director, though, overall. And I was like, I mean, I didn't like Rogue One at all, but this one has the characters I liked in Force Awakens, so, like, this one will probably be fine.
The characters like in Force Awakens, and I also Finn.
Also, Finn was much better in this movie, I thought, actually.
I thought he was way worse.
Are you kidding? Wait, are you an idiot? Are you a dumb retarded?
We're moving on. We're moving.
I hated Rogue One, and I've become completely jaded about Star Wars. I loved Star Wars as a kid. I was a huge fan of it, and then the idea of it becoming a yearly event has tainted it and made it something.
It's like the World Series, dude.
Yeah,
every year
like
the World Series
happens. Or Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed. Or, yeah, it's just not special.
Or
anymore.
Christmas. That's special and it happens every year. Your birthday.
That's what I'm saying. After seeing the first couple trailers, I was like, yeah, nothing looked promising to me. And you guys were like, Rian Johnson's directing it. And I was like, I don't give a shit. And Kevin, even a few days ago, was like, but Rian Johnson, he hasn't done anything that I dislike that much. And I was like, I don't give a shit. No one's infallible. And he said the words, there are some people that are less fallible than other people. And I was like, Kevin, I don't care. I hate the idea of yearly Star Wars. It'll never be special again. So that Star Wars will always have that against it for me now. Is that, like, I'm never going to be excited for another movie. Like, ever. I don't care who the fuck's directing it. I don't care if it's a main story movie. I don't care anymore. I don't give a shit. I'm jaded. And this movie might have made it worse.
Yeah.
So, Alec, what did you think of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Hated it more than I actually hated it, if that makes any sense. Like
it doesn't.
My feeling towards it is worse than I think the movie is. I especially now, like I'm tired and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Like I'm hot, but I don't think it's like the worst movie ever made. I think it has a lot of problems. I think that there are some really, really boring and long parts that could have been cut out with certain characters that I didn't care about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Asian girl?
Yeah.
So, Brian, think about this.
Can you believe she's not dead at the end?
She is.
Can you believe she's
dragged her across
No,
the
she's
sand.
totally
Simpson,
dead. They're
Simpson.
going to do a My Weekend at Bernie's.
No, we're gonna do a section for the Asian girl. Forget it. We're moving on. We have to do this.
We can't save everything for a section, Brian.
All right. Rose.
Rose, that's her
Her name.
name.
Yes, they say it like 50 times.
So I want to cut back to something that happened in the beginning. All right, so the movie opens up. I was thinking about this a lot in the beginning. So I was like, how do you open the second movie in a trilogy? So you have wiggle room, right? Like you have creative freedom, but at the same time you don't. Because you have to masterfully execute something, which is you have to reintroduce your characters, but at the same time you can't spoon feed it to your audience because most of them have already seen the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
This
You gotta
movie,
remind them
this
to feel
movie
the
didn't
last
do that. This movie, the first couple minutes were like the first episode of like a Scooby-Doo episode where like all the characters have to explain to you what's going on. Like there's some really bad lines where Hux is like, "Oh my God, I have to talk to Supreme Leader Snoke because I am the commander of this army and we're about to attack the
Who I
rebel
thought was
base."
dead when he showed up. I was like, didn't he die? Isn't he dead? Didn't he blow up on a planet?
No, dude, he
No.
evacuated.
No.
How?
evacuated.
He was there.
He fucked off, dude. They're blowing up my planet.
Everyone that was on that. Also, so
I
apparently
didn't think he was important enough to bring back.
Apparently, so blowing up the biggest and most expensive planet-destroying planet in the world or in the universe had no monetary or negative effect on the New Order. Like,
because the rebellion blew up their space bazooka or whatever.
Yeah,
They blew up every Republic planet.
that's true.
All of them. They killed quadrillions of
But,
people.
so-
They blew up one space egg. One.
Mm-hmm.
So at the ending of Force Awakens, that was one thing I did like about the opening, where they were like, "Oh, the New Order, the New Order, right?
The New Order. Yeah.
The New Order."
You can't remember
I
their
completely
very
forgot what it was called.
creative name?
The New Order.
Well, it's called the Second Order now.
So the New Order, they were like, the New Order has the upper hand and they're on the advantage. And I was like, what are you talking about? They blew up their space egg. And then I was like, oh right, they blew up all the Republic planets.
Well, so a problem that I had, like not a problem, but just like a weird kind of like question that I think was on a lot of people's minds after the Force Awakens is, what is the New Order? First Order?
And how did that... It is the First Order.
Is it the First Order?
No.
No, the First Order. It's the First Order.
I think First Order's... Yeah, I think
It's the First Order. So a lot of people are like, what is the First Order? Like at the end of... And I'm sure they've answered this in fucking books, but I'm not gonna read a book. I'm not gonna read a book. If you tell me to read a fucking book, I'll come to your house and gut you.
That happened in 10th grade. The
I'm
lady
not-
was like, hey, read Fahrenheit 451.
She killed a teacher.
We never saw that woman again.
A government employee. She gutted her.
That's a federal offense, killing a government
I'm not
employee.
reading a book. Like, I don't care.
Kill a hooker like everyone else.
Alex still doesn't know how to read.
I want some understanding of like what these people, even if it's not like exposed or like there's not some long exposition scene. I want just like some idea of why they're
Bad
in
guys,
power.
dude.
Yeah, they're just bad guys.
Well, my impression in the first one was that they're like almost like an empire rebellion, because I felt like
that's what it was.
I felt like
that's
the
leading
rebels
up into my.
they won.
That,
you know?
Yeah, that's leading up
But
into my
nothing makes
issue.
it feel like that.
No. I guess it's not that anymore.
In the first movie in this trilogy, it did feel like they were like kind of a fringe thing. Like they weren't that big of a deal. Because people almost didn't like it was acted like people didn't believe Leia. Like it was like, oh, we don't even think that they're a threat. They're like the New Order, the First Order, whatever. But so this isn't even the problem that I want to get to.
I keep thinking of new problems, and we can't focus too long on one thing.
I wanted to get to one thing in that first scene, because that first scene is very childishly handled. It's not written very well. It's not executed. It opens up with explosions, and it's always a pet peeve of mine when it's just like explosions immediately. I never like that. But space has no effect on characters in this movie. So bombers, right? So you have the bomb. You got this bit, which, by the way, the spaceship design is also terrible. It's just like a rectangle. It's like a floating cube that drops bombs, I guess. So like you got
like any other ship in Star Wars.
You got these floating cubes. That's not true. That's a lie. There's a lot of really well designed ships in Star
I'm just
Wars.
saying, to me, they're just all like ships that look weird.
All right, well,
dude, if you read the fucking book, it'll explain to you that those were refrigeration units used for carrying bantha meat, and they repurposed it to drop bombs. You fucking retard.
So you have a refrigerator, right?
I don't know. I'm just that's what they're gonna say. If we complain about the ship design, someone's gonna be like, "There used to be fridge."
So Brian, you got these refrigerators, right, with the bottom doors that open up, and so you got the cockpit. You got a gunner.
And she's sitting there, and she doesn't get sucked down.
It opens up the doors, and there's no shielding. There's no glass. There's nothing stopping space from getting into the spaceship.
It has a seatbelt.
No, well, that wouldn't do anything because there's that.
She holds her breath. He holds his breath. She held her breath.
And none of the characters are wearing spacesuits or any breath rest.
Like no, she was covering it with her hand, dude.
No,
they had long sleeves. You fucking retard.
No, that wouldn't save you from space.
I think she was even wearing gloves, idiot.
Yeah, remember when Leia went into space? Yeah, remember that?
Oh, Rachel.
I was like, okay, so she gets blown up, right? And I'm like, oh, she's dead. Like,
yeah, right.
Okay, they kill her.
Okay, cool. They kill her immediately. Awesome.
And then they focus on her, and then her eyes start twitching. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, is she gonna take a breath? Like, what's going on?
And then
she's gonna be like Jon Snow.
And then she floats back, and I was like, what was that?
That was terrible. So apparently,
and it was very ignored. The movie knew how ridiculous it was, and it was like, let's not talk about that.
Literally every main Resistance character saw that happen, and no one was like, what the fucking deal was that? What the hell was that? Why did she do that? No one has ever done that before. Is she force sensitive? What the fuck was that?
Remember at the end when Rey lifted all the rocks and they were all surprised? They're like, oh my gosh, but not her floating back into a spaceship?
It looked like she looked like a quarterback, like flying into the end zone or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It was so. Oh my god! It was so stupid. It was so stupid, and it never comes up again.
So one thing,
and then she's just fine. She just wakes up and she just blows up a door.
One thing I will say about this movie that like something I noticed in the first scene, like a realization, was that this movie feels the most like a children's movie out of almost all the Star Wars movies I've seen. Like the way it's written, the way characters act. The way, how cartoonish it feels way more like a Saturday morning cartoon than it's really jarring.
I think for the first half, yeah.
It's really jarring after Rogue One, because Rogue One was like, we're gonna be a fucking war movie and it's gonna be bleak and everyone's gonna fucking die.
And it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they were going for, though. Like, it wasn't like a cartoon where there's CGI characters that are farting. It was like.
Anyway. We're getting sidetracked. So
there's so much in this.
So the opening happens. And it opens with an action scene. And it's fucking boring, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's stupid. And there are no stakes because they're not going to kill anyone in the beginning. And then when they actually do try to establish stakes by killing Princess Leia, she fucking floats like this.
It was really weird.
And I guess Admiral Akbar dies as if you're supposed to
I thought he was already dead. I thought he died of old age.
I think Disney hates Princess Leia because they have her horrible monster face in Rogue One. At the end of it, and then they do this shit where they have her do that. Well, and why did they make her hands go out?
So in my
well, that's how she was pulling her. I don't know.
So in when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, this is gonna be their big send off to Carrie Fisher. It's gonna be this it's gonna be like, oh my god, and she died. She gave herself to the cause, and it's gonna be like there's gonna be sad music, and then sad music didn't really play. It was just kind of like it was like, and I was like, oh. That's a weird send-off if that's how she's just gonna die. I'm fine with it. I think that's jarring and kind of cool. I appreciate it.
And it establishes a dark tone for the rest of the movie. Fucking people can just die immediately.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then... and then she just floats back to the spaceship.
They actually played that song when she was like...
Oh, yeah.
Did they actually?
Probably. I don't know.
They played that song 50 times in the movie.
Oh yeah, also the soundtrack.
John Williams just went into his iPod and was like, "I already made this." It was
just Star Wars greatest hits the whole movie.
Anyway, that opening scene's stupid, and then they start the most contrived character arc I've ever seen, where Princess Leia out of nowhere is like, "You're a loose cannon, Poe Dameron."
Wait, was that a character arc?
Yes, because because he learns not to be a loose cannon at the end.
Does he?
Yes, because he's like, "No, I don't want us to die blowing up this cannon, even though we're all gonna die if we don't blow it up. Pull away." Even though they say there's no other exit and it's their only option.
Brian, it's poetry. He learns to stop being a loose cannon.
But that's the only time where he has to be
cannon.
It's genius.
Ryan Johnson was like, "What if we put an actual loose cannon in that he doesn't explode?"
And Paul has to face it head on. Not being a loose cannon anymore.
So anyway,
it's literally pulled out of one of those buddy cop movies where she's like, "You're a loose cannon, Dameron."
Out of nowhere. At no point in the first one were they like, "Man, Poe Dameron, he's a loose cannon." No, literally every character says he's the best pilot in the Resistance. Yep. Everyone loves him. You're hot shit. You're the greatest. And then out of nowhere,
he put on the Han Solo jacket and he was like, "I'm a loose cannon."
The mission in the beginning is successful and does what they want to do, which is destroy that big ship that was going to destroy their other big ship. Like, he's in the right.
He killed a lot of things, dude.
No, but
a lot more people would have died if that bigger ship had exploded.
Yeah, they said that before he blew it up.
Yeah, he said, "I want to blow it up because it'll kill more people."
Because it kills people all the time. Yeah. He said it destroys fleets like nothing.
So anyway, that opening scene is stupid because, like, all the character interactions that they set up in the first one, all the character interactions you like, none of them are at play here. It's just Poe Dameron. And this is when I swiftly learned that Poe Dameron does not work as a character by himself. Poe Dameron only works when he's interacting with other people. He's fucking boring by himself.
And he's a great side character because he's just kind of like, you're like, wow, what
he's a cool guy.
Because a lot of it's left up to your imagination. You're like, wow,
he's like the cool older brother.
Yeah.
You don't make a movie about the cool older brother.
No.
Because he's not an underdog. He's just, I'm the best. And then, okay, so...
He's already achieved his heights.
Yeah, so the opening action scene happens, and it's fucking boring, and it's stupid, and it sets up that there are no stakes, because Princess Leia can just go, no, and
okay, let's just get into the several plots, though. So the several plots are, there's like four plots.
The movie, alright, so what happens is basically, you got the main rebel ship, it's being chased by all these fucking Star Destroyers, and they're like, we don't have enough fuel to do a bunch of light speed jumps. They can track us through light speed, so we're just gonna slowly stay exactly out of range,
and
which doesn't make sense.
Our shields are complete. It was like it was like a ticking clock that made no sense because it's like it's right there. It's right there. Just shoot them and kill them.
Yep.
And then Laura Dern comes out of nowhere, and it's just like I'm a bad guy, except not really.
No, dude, she's a hero.
And it's supposed to teach Poe Dameron his stupid arc that came out of nowhere. It's like, look, she's not a loose cannon, even though her plan was dumb and failed anyway.
Yeah.
And your plan...
Even though Poe Dameron was right in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then plotline B is, I think, plotline that most people cared about, which is
Rey and Luke
Skywalker. Like, that's what they advertised. That's what everyone wanted to see, was like this like...
It's barely in the movie.
Yeah, I'd say it's the best of the timelines, though.
Barely.
It's better than Finn going off with that Asian girl to that random planet.
Sam said, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that, like, it's, even though it is the best, it's still kind of like... The will Luke help them, won't Luke help them aspect of it feels really contrived. Like, it doesn't feel like it's natural at all.
Also, well, no, I was more focusing on the fact that, like, Rey was talking to Kylo Ren when that first started. I was like,
that was
really
interesting.
Weird. And then once it kept going, I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And then pretty much everything with Rey and Kylo Ren was cool. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, like their whole story.
The coolest scene in the movie is just all them.
So, the thing with Rey and Luke is like, yes, it's. I would say that it had the most potential to be good. Like, I was engrossed because I was like, they can really do a lot of cool stuff here, but they don't pay off any of it. And that one has the most repetition in it.
Yeah.
A big problem with this movie is they repeat a lot of information that you either already know from the first one, or stuff they already tell you in this one.
Just repeat themselves.
Like, everything with Rey and Luke Skywalker is just a repetition of either something you've already seen in a movie or something they've already told you in this movie.
It was like they had the same scene over and over again. It was just like, all right, you need to help the rebellion. They're in danger. They're in danger. They need your help. And then Luke would be like, no, I hate the Jedi. Need to end. And then that scene happened again 4 more times.
Like, they were trying to do the thing where it's like, oh, Luke is the new Yoda, but every scene with Yoda progressed a little bit.
Yeah,
where Luke wins over Yoda, or you learn something new every time. everything with Rey and Luke was a repetition of the scene before. Luke doesn't want to train her, but he's going to try to anyway, and Rey's getting pulled to the dark side, and then he explains something that makes no sense, and it's fucking stupid. And they keep repeating themselves over and over. The movie's 2.5 hours long because there's no progress in any scene. Nothing is being done at all.
I'd say like the first I feel like the movie didn't start till Rey got to the big old ship.
The Snoke ship.
Like that's where the movie actually starts. I would
And
say,
that's
like,
an hour and 40 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yes, it was. I think that was an episode of Star Wars Rebels that they threw in.
So,
And they could have easily put Lando in there, by the way. He could have just been there.
Yeah.
Why not?
So, wait, so I want to set the stage, right? So you got this big old rebel ship. And it's like, holy shit, what's going on? We're gonna be exploded. These evil Empire guys, they're chasing us down with their bigger ships. We're just out of range. We're barely surviving. Poe Dameron's like, I want to be a loose cannon, but Ellie from Jurassic Park won't let me. And he's like, I want to go blow things up, and they just won't let me. And he says that again 4 more times, and then Poe's like, and then Finn's like, I'm gonna escape again. There's actually the funniest part of that scene is when he tries escaping. Like that there's some.
Well, because that's the most like he was in the first one, where he's like a quirky, like dumb goober.
Yeah.
Who fails at everything. Like that's his whole character.
Finn also knew
only in that scene
way more about the new Empire or whatever than he did in the first one. Like he was just like a nobody, and that one didn't really have any information on them for the most part. But he knew like a ton of stuff where he's like, oh, there's a generator here.
So
that's tracking you. Like he just knew like everything.
Then Finn meets this janitor or whatever she was, guard.
She was like a mechanic or whatever.
Right.
An electrocutie stick.
And she, I guess her sister was the bomber that could breathe in space.
Yeah.
And so they decide to go on an adventure. They devise a plan to hack. They're hackers.
Well, they have to get a hacker.
They have to find a hacker. They're like, our hacking skills aren't elite enough.
So we gotta hack.
We gotta find a more elite hacker.
So at first, when they first introduced her in that scene, I was like, this character's really irritating. Mm-hmm. Immediately, I was like, this character's really annoying. And she's gonna be in all of it because they advertised her character a lot.
Annoying the whole movie.
She's like, so imagine a character in Star Wars that is just basically your average.
No, she. You know what she was? She was a self-insert from a fan fiction.
That's what I was about to say. Like, imagine a character in Star Wars that is just like your average Star Wars like fangirl that put herself
to the point where she
Wars
kisses a main character.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
So anyway.
Oh my god.
So they get to this planet and they're like, okay, we have to go to this planet.
I didn't know.
And then I don't actually die. He saves me.
So they get to this planet, and at first I thought it was really cool because I was like, "Oh fuck, a casino planet! That's never been seen in Star Wars. It's not just like grass. Make that
well, no,
water."
wait, I want to go because like so they set up the fact that like no one can escape. Like it's a dire situation. And then they just leave. They just fly away.
So they go to this casino planet, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking rad. We've never seen that in Star Wars before. That's gonna be really interesting." Oh, maybe they'll do something really interesting with like the gambling. We get some like Casino Royale shit going on, but like in Star Wars, and you get like the space game or something. No, then they look at like a bunch of horses, like the things from The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
And then that completely goes down.
So like that plot line.
We could have an entire segment where we just talk about the various animals in this movie.
So anyway, no, I want to get into this.
This movie was also a PETA advertisement.
So they get there, and immediately she's frustrating again because she's like, "No, this planet sucks."
She has a really bad line. I don't remember what she says, but she says some weird.
And Finn's having a blast, and he's like, "This is awesome. This planet's sweet," and he's having emotions, and he's like, "Oh, this is sweet," and then she's like, "No, it sucks because there are poor people." And it's like, that's not really a good reason for why this planet sucks. She's like, no, it sucks because I was poor. And they made us miners. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then they look at these horses and they're like, okay, so we have a casino. This huge, glitzy, beautiful casino.
With ears, dude.
And then you see a bunch of weird horses from The Last Guardian. And then they never go back into that casino for the rest of the movie. The most interesting thing about that planet, and they're like, no, we're gonna get to these horses. So this Asian girl, right? So Rose, right? She's played by a god awful actress. Like, all right, so she has terrible, shitty dialogue. Okay, she has awful dialogue.
Yes, I also just in general the movie's dialogue is not very well written at all.
So imagine All right, I'm
imagining.
I'm gonna set the stage for you.
I'm in the stage.
All right, so Star Wars.
Star Wars.
From the first one, they want to cast a bunch of unknowns for their new characters,
right.
Unless you're Oscar Isaac, who's just like, I want to be in Star Wars, and they're like, you got it.
And Kathleen Kennedy was like more colored.
More colored. So you're an Asian American female actress.
Right.
You're like, I don't stand a fucking chance, but you know I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Star Wars. It's the biggest franchise since anything ever.
And it's the biggest role in Asian person.
So it is literally.
And I also want the acting industry like the acting field is savage as it is. Like for a good-looking white person, it is a savage industry.
This is career making. You're competing with the best, not just America. The world has to offer. They have. You got literally every actor on the planet killing people to be in Star Wars. And you have the best casting directors in the business that money couldn't buy. $52 billion just now to buy Fox. You have the best. And they land on what might be the worst actress I've ever seen in this entire year.
She's awful, dude.
She is. I don't know how she slipped through the cracks. I don't know what. Is she funny in real life? Like, did she?
No, I watched some
interviews
with. I watched some interviews with the cast, and I didn't even know she was in it until watching some interviews, and she's not interesting at all.
Like almost all the dialogue in this movie is terrible, but Daisy Ridley is still good in it.
Yes.
Mark Hamill's good in it.
John Boyega is still good in it. Everyone else
Oscar Isaac's still good.
Oscar Isaac's still good in it, despite the terrible dialogue they give him.
He was like a different character.
And she is.
Because they made he went from just being a quippy side character who's like fun when you see him to being like it's like when you it's like when you like
turn
a dessert.
Serpico.
Like you like a dessert, and then they give you.
You're always bringing up Serpico.
You are. Also, Serpico like wasn't a loose cannon.
But he's a famous loose cannon dude.
Like he's so Sam's like I'll give you an analogy for Poe Dameron. So Poe Dameron is like your mom makes like cheesecake really well.
Oh yeah.
And like, but she doesn't let you have much of it. She gives you like one.
Mom, no.
You get it every Christmas.
Yeah, you get it every Christmas.
Frick.
And then
just like Poe Dameron, I get him every Christmas.
Cut the video.
So that's Poe Dameron. And so
Poe Dameron.
And so the Last Jedi Poe Dameron is like
go hunting. I'm the best
a
pilot in the
shitty, undercooked cheesecake made by someone else, but you get it every single day, and yet you cook
saute it,
you bake it.
Yeah, bake it, cook it. Whatever.
I'm pretty sure you don't put any. You just make mush.
Anyway.
Anyways, that plot line though, the worst part about it was partway into it is just like they're riding on those horse things, and I'm like, what? This isn't Star Wars anymore. Like they're in a completely different.
Not only that,
movie.
but they get off the horse and they're about to die. Like Finn's like, they're gonna fucking shoot me to death. Real fast. He's like, they get off the horse in the worst action scene I've ever seen because it's like, what is their plan?
Because I'm like, what is going on? Where is this gonna go? Where is this supposed to go?
What do they think is gonna happen? And then it's like, all right, the spaceships are here, and Finn's like they're gonna fucking murder us. Like I'm gonna be dead right now. Like I'm gonna be murdered. I'm not gonna be able to tell Rey how I feel. I'm gonna die. And then the Asian girl, and then for no reason he's like, it was worth it sticking it to those rich people out of nowhere. And she's like, no.
Oh yeah.
And then she lets the last Guardian go, and she was like, now it's worth it. And it's like, you do understand the entire resistance was at stake here, and you're like, it was worth it to save this horse.
You possibly had the only way out.
It was all riding on your shoulders, the lives of all of them.
So
the world is going to be taken over by space Nazis and a guy with a monster face. And you're like, well, we saved a horse, dude.
I want to go back to how this whole sequence is set up, because you're given...
It's like 40 minutes of the movie.
It's way too much.
It's so long.
You're given two characters with a simple goal. Find one person. That person has a signifying object on his lapel. He has this little red flower thing that he wears.
Cool set piece. And
it's like, find him, convince him to help us. And you're like, wow, that could, like you said, that could be some Casino Royale shit.
That could be Lando.
Like, and they even get captured. Even once they get captured, it's like, oh, how are they going to escape? How are they going to escape? And then convince that guy to help.
And that guy was just in the cell.
How do they do it?
Oh,
another guy, different asshole
who does not get named once.
No, He's just in the cell with them.
And he could have escaped at any time, but he was just chilling.
And just waiting for someone to come around and have a plot for him to get involved with.
Oh, and then he just leaves the movie.
And
he's like, bye.
He's like, oh, I can help you because he has a stutter.
Which was really weird because I was like, he didn't have a stutter for a lot of lines, and then he just randomly would have.
And his stutter felt really forced. Like it seemed like Benicio del Toro was like, my character has a stutter. I have to stutter some words.
It's really weird.
But yeah, this character just falls into it. Like, this is what I'm talking about a kids movie, because kids movies are plagued by this shit. Like kids movies, like the Minions we talked about on the movie of the week. It has this problem, like to the 9th degree, where nothing happens because characters do things. Things just happen for the characters, just magically. Where it's like, I need this. Oh, it's in my lap now. And that happens with Benicio del Toro.
The movie's finally starting.
Finn, Benicio del Toro, and Rose. They're all flying back.
Ray gets pissed off.
Ray's coming back.
She was like, my boyfriend understands me, Dad. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go touch hands with him.
Everyone's converging to the same location, and it's like, all right, the climax of the movie. Maybe it's gonna end soon.
It's like, so the movie's starting. Rose, Benicio del Toro, and Finn are going over there. Ray's going over to the spaceship, and Luke's really pissed off. And Poe's doing literally the same thing he's been doing for an hour and a half. All right, everyone's converging.
So yeah, everyone's converging, and you know what Finn and Rose's storyline amount to? Jack shit, nothing.
No, he fights Captain Phasma.
But nothing comes of that. She's probably still alive too.
No,
show of hands who cared about Captain Phasma in the first movie. No one? No one? Right. Watch she back. I thought she was dead. No, she got put in a trash compactor. Why is every character alive still? What? Every single character is like, I was shocked every time a character showed up. I was like, I thought they died in the last movie. Am I wrong?
So anyway,
was Domhnall Gleeson not dead?
I'm pretty sure they said Domhnall Gleeson.
No, they did. They were like, Domhnall Gleeson, he got away.
Did they?
God damn it.
He's always getting away, that dastardly Domhnall Gleeson.
But
died on that planet that they blew up.
So they all get together.
They all get together.
Rey gets arrested, and then she's taken, like it's a Return of the Jedi.
Right,
and then she goes up to Snoke, and Snoke's an asshole to her.
And so then you get like the whole movie, because Rey and Kylo Ren talk to each other. It is one of the more interesting concepts in the movie. Because like they start playing with this idea, it's a theme, where it's like, oh, maybe we don't have to just fight our way through every one of these problems. Like maybe we can actually talk about it. And I was
sometimes the Force just makes you guys talk.
Yeah, like that's a weird thing where it's like, oh my god, that's a
they're
crazy
just seeing
concept.
each other, and they do it in a weird way where like you never see them on screen together, and they're never like. They didn't do a thing where it's like, oh, Rey's also there with him. He's also where she's.
They only do that once.
They only do that once, and it's like every single time it's just like, oh, it's over the shoulder shots.
Yeah.
But they're in different.
Yeah.
Places completely.
And so it's like this interesting things happening, and then they all meet up with Snoke, and you're like, wow. Oh, okay. I know I bitch about design a lot, and I'm sorry, but the design in this movie.
It's a lot of red, dude.
Was so lazy.
So what are you talking about? You have a red background with a red floor and red soldiers.
So going back to how it looked like a cartoon.
And a red lightsaber, dude.
Going back to how it looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, because like it's like the most basic. How do you make someone look evil? Well, you put a giant red wall behind them, and then you put some like kind of weird looking samurai guards behind them.
Snoke was just some guy, dude, who gets cut in half.
Who has like really good force powers and
stuff. Oh yeah, remember everyone that cared about Snoke? Well, fuck you. If you thought Snoke was a villain that mattered,
did a lot of things
go
like
fuck yourself.
That I was pretty into, like the fact that Snoke just got killed, and like I felt like the movie like went against what I would have thought it was gonna do several times, which I liked. Like I liked that, even though the plotline was a little weird and was like kind of like, how is this supposed to be happening? How is like, are they just this far away from? Is that what they're saying? Whatever it is, it's like, oh, but the rebellion is struggling the entire movie.
To speak to the movie's benefit, the most powerful scene, not just in terms of like visual action, but also just like the part where I was the most into what was happening with the characters, is the scene with Kylo Ren and Rey and Snoke. Like, that scene's interesting. What happens in it is like, it's shocking because it's like, oh my god, they killed Snoke. Even though Snoke, just before he dies, demonstrates that he's like the most powerful Force user on the planet, or in the world, or the universe.
Well, in that room at least.
Yeah. And then Kylo Ren is able to trick him, and it's like this cool scene, and then they team up for just a second. It's like choo choo, and they kill all these samurai. And it's an interesting, and there's a really cool death. There's a few really cool, like, just it's
that drop thing and grabs it and kills.
It's a really good action scene.
It's a really good action.
It's like when
scene.
Leon's fighting Krauser and he drops his knife and grabs it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. It is exactly like that.
Ryan Johnson was playing Resident Evil. He was watching Uncle Mikki stream, and he was like, Resident Evil 4 is great. We gotta put that in the movie. She's gotta be like Spotter.
You saw that scene.
We lost middle cam.
Oh yeah, we lost that like 5 minutes ago.
Did we? I'm gonna make sure this one's still going. It's still going.
Freaking, what was I gonna say? So once the movie starts though, around that scene, I'd say there's a lot of good stuff after that. Like, there's still a lot of weird, like...
That's when the movie starts.
That's when the movie starts. And that's also when all that ends and you're like...
I will say...
Like, wow. And it feels like a completely different movie, because you mentioned the Porgs or whatever, and like,
yeah.
Chewie not eating the pork or whatever, and like, I was like, I totally forgot that was the same movie. Like that...
I will say that there's probably a decent movie that could be cut out of this. I was talking with Skylar and Rachel on the way home. Something that, like, personally I've learned a lot in the last year is cutting stuff out. Like, just, like, finding out what's interesting about your idea, what people will like about it, and trimming it down to the most, like, just digestible version of it. Ryan Johnson did not do that. He was like, I have this idea, I have to make sure that all my characters that I love get screen time. Even the dumb Asian one that is boring and uninteresting. You know what's your give me characteristics of that character.
I don't remember anything.
She's pissed off all the time.
Is she? No, she's always happy, dude. She's very positive.
No, she isn't. She's complaining the whole
not?
movie.
No,
she is literally complaining the entire movie.
I'm just being concerned.
So, and also, so they do this thing.
So I was talking about Hope, dude. She's like, I love animals.
A semi-interesting concept, and a concept that maybe in a different movie could... So, like, they do this thing, where in the middle of the movie, Benicio del Toro's like, oh, well, everyone... The war doesn't matter. It's all a joke.
Well, it's all cyclical.
It's all cyclical. It's a joke, and the people that make the weapons that you're using make the weapons that the Empire's using. So it's all a game that we're playing. The high-level players are using you as chess pieces.
Literally 100 years from now, they're going to be called something different, but it's going to be the exact same
And
thing.
so, like, I was like, that's an interesting kind of high-level concept for a movie with
Porgs in it.
With Porgs in it. And
Porgs
also,
are cute though.
Also, they are really cute. I will say, as far as cute design goes, that gets a thumbs up.
They always look so sad.
We give it 5 Uncle Mickey cute eggs.
I would give it 6 Uncle Mickey.
Oh, is that
cute
our
eggs.
first 5 out of 5 cute eggs score?
Well, he just gave it a 6.
6 out of 5 cute eggs.
6 out of 5 cute eggs.
That.
So that's a 5.5.
That's too cute.
Porgs are too cute. The numbers are in, everybody.
Porgs are too cute.
That pedophile didn't win that governorship or whatever, and Porgs are too cute.
Yep. It's all on the
The
same
world's
page.
looking good.
The ballots are in, everybody. We've done it. We've saved 2017.
We've saved 2017.
Thanks,
Chewie go
Porgs.
for a lot of the movie.
He wasn't a part of it. They didn't know what to do with Chewie.
Chewbacca?
So they
he stayed on the Millennium Falcon while one of his oldest friends
Yeah.
just hung out.
Really weird, like, how much screen time we got with, like, you know, characters
Or
that aren't as important.
Or
as...
R2-D2,
Yeah.
like Luke's best friend besides Han Solo, R2-D2, and they have one scene together.
Yeah, dude. Well, he touches him, dude. He's like, hey, buddy.
He touches him what? It's his oldest... He knew R2-D2 before Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally his oldest friend because he had no friends because he was a loser.
We had Biggs.
Biggs explodes. R2-D2 never exploded.
What about Wedge, dude?
Oh, dude, Wedge! What happened to Wedge? Where's
Wedge has to show up.
Well, Wedge refused to be in the movie, so they were like, well, then we're not going to mention you, fag.
But
that whole time, Luke was just sitting there on the island. Just
yeah, no. So like the concept is
Which is my best friend.
the concept is relatively like as far as like what the rest of the material in the movie is. It's like an interesting concept.
And then they don't do anything with it.
They don't do anything with it. But on top of that, I don't think
Finn
it
learns
fits.
a big lesson.
I don't think it fits the tone of the movie. It's almost like making fun of its audience in a way. 'Cause it's like, you fucking idiots. You think this matters? You dumb assholes. We're smarter than you because we made this movie.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem with the movie is it has a lot of interesting concepts and then does nothing with them.
Yeah.
So you have Luke Skywalker.
Instead it wastes time on a casino planet.
So everyone was talking about how like, all right, Luke Skywalker. What the fuck's gonna go on with Luke Skywalker? Because he's the Jedi Master, motherfucker. He's the Jedi Master, and he's completely turned his back on the Jedi. He's completely jaded. He's the most powerful Jedi ever, and now he's turned his back on the Jedi. What extremes is he gonna go to make sure that the Jedi...
what also like what I was interested in what moral philosophy has he reached? Like where is he? Because like a lot of people were talking
not just on the Jedi, but on the galaxy.
Yeah, like what is like I was expecting some sort of like, you know, him to represent an idea, something where it's like I've reached this point where I don't believe in either side.
What happens when the Jedi Master becomes a nihilist?
Yeah,
and like feels like nothing matters, and then you know what that amounts to? Yoda shows up and tells him to stop being sad.
Oh yeah,
and it's like
Yoda showed up, puppet
Yoda, and it's literally
he also never represents any ideas that anyone thought he might. He literally his character development is so fucking surface level, where it's I'm sad because this happened. That happened 20 years ago. I'm still sad about it.
They also tried to do an interesting thing where they try to do a Rashomon thing where they're giving him and Kylo Ren are kind of like battling accounts of what actually happened. Nothing interesting happens with that.
No.
Luke just says, "Oh, this is what actually happened." And it doesn't play with what makes Rashomon good, where it's like, well, what actually
happened? You never know
happened?
at the end of Rashomon.
Yeah, you never know at the end of Rashomon, but in this movie, they just take a side and be like, oh, the last thing Luke says is like, but not knowing would make it so much more interesting. Like, if they don't do anything with it.
So they just immediately cut to a scene where she's talking to Kylo Ren. He's like, "Are you kidding me? That guy's a liar. What are you talking about? That is not true."
Like,
I saw what he did.
Literally, if it was a temptation of dark side and light side, where they're both arguing accounts, and they're both like, well,
he's like,
who
"You
do
don't look
trust
sad
more?"
like this," and pointing the lightsaber down like that.
And it's like they could have done a lot with that.
Yeah.
Where it's like not knowing what really happened and making Rey kind of having to decide who she trusts more. They don't do anything with it. Why the fuck didn't Yoda just show up after Kylo Ren killed everyone and be like, oh, you shouldn't be that sad. I'm gonna burn this tree so you realize you're not sad. Why didn't Yoda do that before?
Yeah, is there some sort of like, because I was thinking about that when Yoda showed up, I was like, how come like Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't show up, or like how come Darth Vader didn't show up to Kylo Ren
I was
later?
Genuinely.
Is there some sort of rules that I don't know about like when Force people can come back?
Not. I was genuinely thinking though that Obi-Wan would come back, like, cause
see Kylo Ren worships Darth Vader, like why wouldn't Darth Vader show up and be like, dude, the dark side's pretty gay?
Yeah, because we know that Darth Vader's a Force ghost, so why wouldn't Hayden
We saw him at the end of it. I saw Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, why would Hayden Christensen show up and be like, so Kylo, I don't know if you...
Trust me, I did that, hit it, and quit it.
Not a fan.
Pretty gay, dude.
Alright, first things first, your girlfriend dies. Second things second, you get burned. Third things third.
Couple cool things though. You get a red lightsaber.
You know what happens when you get
a red lightsaber, you get a TIE fighter, but it's like this. That's pretty sweet.
That's pretty sweet.
My dick doesn't work anymore though. Dude,
alright, so Kylo Ren, you got a dick, right? Dick lines up like this. Not when you're on the dark side. Dick goes away. Have you seen Snoke? You think that guy's got a dick? You think that guy has a dick and he uses it? You think
that guy doesn't have one of his cheeks?
and then they don't do anything. So they don't do anything with Luke's motivation at all.
No.
They don't do anything with Snoke. No. They don't do anything with any of the they don't do anything with the fact that like, hey, the dark side and the light side, Rebels versus Empire, conflict in the galaxy in general is completely cyclical and nothing we do matters. That's basically, oh, by the way, well, alright, so B Rizzle Wire Talk. We're going to put the graphic up. So B Rizzle Wire Talk. That is literally the whole concept of The Wire. Is that conflict is cyclical. Cops and robbers will always exist. Conflict will always exist. Bad guys and good guys don't exist. It's all gray. All of it is gray, and literally the only thing you can do is affect your own personal take on it. All you can do is affect you and the people immediately close to you. That's it. That's all you can do in the world. You can't change how the world works. There are rules. There will always be this person against this person. Rich people against the poor. Good guy versus a bad guy. But neither of them are really good and neither of them are really bad. And they don't do anything with that.
Well, I would say...
It's in one scene.
The problem with it is that I think that concept is inherently counteractive to what Star Wars is, because
Yeah,
Star
Star
Wars
Wars
has
never
always
has more-
Yeah, Star Wars is.
yeah, and like
Flow back into the ship.
like I love that concept.
I hope we can find that clip somewhere.
Probably.
But yeah, like the whole point of Star
That's
Wars is
terrible.
it's a warm, good versus evil blanket
Yeah,
that you
like
wrap
it's
yourself in.
not a high concept series.
It's to remind you, oh, good and evil can exist, and the good guy will always beat the bad guy.
And
When he
it's-
goes like this on Darth Vader,
Die, Darth Vader,
die, I hate you.
But I also
Die.
feel like that movie, or like that concept, is at odds with the movie itself. Like the movie, it wants to be a Star Wars movie, but at the same time, it's like, hey, well, what?
Sometimes it doesn't want to be a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, sometimes it's just Luke Skywalker.
But no, I mean
hanging out
like
with some
by
Porgs.
the end of it, it is like that. That's what I'm saying. Is like by the end of it, it has this like Star Wars finale, and it is a it's the 8th Star Wars movie. But at the same time, they're like, well, we're gonna throw in this shit, and we're gonna see if that sticks. But we're not really gonna. It's gonna be a light toss.
So, when Rey and Kylo Ren kill Snoke and then murder all those samurai, it feels like the end of the movie. Like this feels like the ending of a movie.
So I actually had a moment where I was like, wow, you know what? What an interesting end. Like I didn't really love the most of it, but like the end
I
of
wonder
it.
what the villain's gonna be in the next one if Kylo Ren's a good guy.
I was like, Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren's not gonna be. He's gonna be like the new. Like that's it. Like he's now.
He's not never gonna be a good guy.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's an interesting way to end the movie. And then I was like, wait, but there's a lot in the trailer that seems like it got cut out.
Yeah, so Poe Dameron, the loose cannon. Oh, right, we've completely forgot about all that stuff. We'll just cliff on. So he fights Laura Dern, and then Laura Dern fights back, and then he finds out that Laura Dern was actually a good guy, and Poe Dameron.
Why didn't she just explain to him what he was doing?
Because
he's
he
a
was
loose cannon.
He's too loose of a cannon. She doesn't need to explain it to him.
He's
understood.
also a
Loose
smart
cannon.
person though.
Well, they kind of made him an idiot in this one.
It's true, but I mean,
But
Like,
he wouldn't
they
be.
took
Yeah,
the-
no, but he wouldn't be an idiot if Laura Dern literally said, "Oh, this is my plan." Especially when Poe Dameron said, "What is your plan?"
Yeah.
When Poe Dameron said,
He asked several times
I'm
for the
super
plan."
pissed off right now. A bunch of other people are really pissed off right now because they don't know what your plan is. Explain what your plan is, and then she doesn't tell them. Even when he finds out that she's fueling the things, and it's like, "What is that? That makes you a coward. You're a traitor." Even when he pulls a gun on her and says, "I'm betraying you. I'm taking over this shit. I'm a loose cannon." At any point, she could have just been like, "Oh, there's a planet right there, and we're going to it." But for no reason, she doesn't explain it at all. For no reason. Like, I get, like, I shouldn't have to explain
Like
it to you.
they get into the shuttle and then Leia's like, "Listen, we're going to this planet." He's like, "That's an awesome plan, dude."
I completely get, like, oh, I shouldn't have to explain it to him. But when he's got a fucking gun in your face and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm gonna put everyone's lives in jeopardy."
Don't even like have the throwaway line of, "I don't have to explain myself to you." She just doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
But even still, like, literally has got a gun
Well, and
pointed at
so,
you,
like-
and he's saying, "I'm gonna put all your lives in danger."
Laura Dern, I'm gonna say, I feel like she was really miscast. Like Laura Dern seems.
Did she have any lines?
Laura Dern seems like she should be the president of a book club and not the admiral of a spaceship. Like the way she acts is very like everything's very casual. She talks about things like they don't really matter that much.
I got a completely new thing that I completely forgot about.
What, Brian?
They mentioned God twice.
Did they?
They say Godspeed twice in this movie.
Oh,
they?
Laura Dern says it. Yeah.
God, Laura Dern says it, and the guy on the hologram before he gets blown up says like Godspeed or something.
Yeah.
Well,
and I
dude-
was like, where the fuck is this coming from? Why are they talking about God?
Well, now
It's
that
the
Jedi's
Force.
don't exist, they are all about God, dude.
Where did? Like they make
That'd be
a
really
point, like they make a
interesting.
point of it. Like Laura Dern is standing there saying Godspeed, and it's like, why the fuck is she saying that?
Yeah, why doesn't she say May the Force or Force Speed?
Well, do they use that in the first
Force
one?
Speed.
No, they get away from the
just say
droid
Force Speed.
Like,
Ryan
what-
Johnson, you idiot! You should have said Force Speed.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand like why that's like overtly in it. Like, it's not just it's attention is drawn to it. She says Godspeed, and she's the only person on camera. It's the only thing being said, and it's like, what? Where the fuck is this coming from? It's a movie about the Force. Luke Skywalker spends a whole scene saying like, "Don't go in that Dark Souls hole because the bad Force is in there. Bad Force, don't go in there." Also, alright, so they don't go into that either because Luke Skywalker is like.
Says it's a bad hole.
So
And
Luke
then-
Skywalker specifically says the Force does not belong to the Jedi. The Force is completely neutral. The Force just exists to bind everything together, except bad Force. And then, it's like, oh, that's really interesting because you said that force is just an energy field that connects everything, so why is there a bad force? And he's just like, don't go in that Dark Souls hole. Don't go in it because of bad force.
Wasn't there always bad force? Isn't that?
Well, no, it's not bad. Like the way I could be wrong. I'm not.
Is you use the force.
Yeah,
to
there's
do
a dark
bad
side.
things.
You can manipulate it in a way.
I don't think he was saying there was bad force. So I don't. That whole thing, I don't even know.
Like the dark side and the light side isn't the dark side and the light side of the force. It's the dark side and the light side of humanity that can manipulate the force.
But he says there's a dark side hole. The dark side hole was tempting her. He says that's a bad dark side hole that's tempting you.
Well, I think that was only metaphorical though, like in her head. Like
it isn't metaphorical. She went in a hole.
Yeah, but that didn't do anything.
She still went into a dark side hole.
It didn't do anything.
No, I'm gonna give.
It gave her hallucinations.
I think Sam Slade's right here though. Like I think it is like a temptation.
I think that's all it was. Was he was like because he threw a fit about it. He's like you let the dark side tempt you and you didn't do nothing. You
yeah, like Luke, he was all.
I just saw that as like the same scene in Empire when Luke walks into that cave.
Yeah,
that cave isn't the dark side cave.
I think
it's
the
just
reason
the cave that has.
But Yoda's like that's a vision cave. He didn't say that's a dark side cave.
I think the reason he was like the reason he reacted like that was because he's supposed to be just this paranoid old fuck that's paranoid that I see that the potential for darkness in you. I see that like you just being exposed to that could potentially make you a Kylo Ren 2. Don't do that. So I think he was more just being a paranoid fuck. I mean, I think the whole like
it's unclear.
No, yeah, it's not.
Well, so is the
written well
Force
at all.
So anyway,
well, it's because they keep adding on to it. It's like in theory, the Force in the first movie is very simple. It's an energy field. You manipulate it in a negative or a positive way. Like there isn't a dark or a light side really. There's just like there's bad people that use it and there's good people that use it. And then it's like in the prequels they're like, oh, but the dark side of the Force. It's like they add that and it's like okay, that's fine if it's just saying it's adding a label.
And then
to
in
it.
Force Awakens they say light side. They never say light side in the other movies. They just say the Force and the dark side of the Force. And then they start saying the light side of the Force, and they mention the light and the dark.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that was a huge thing for Keegan for Force Awakens. He was like, "What the fuck is that? It's just the Force." And they're like, "We have to stay in here."
And that big old the loose cannon shows up. That's what you're talking about, right? So that's another thing with the movie was like there's a lot of parts where just something just gets thrown in, and it's like, what is that? And then it's just like, well, this is now the movie.
Yeah.
Like that loose cannon thing where the cannon shows up, they're just like, oh shoot, that's gonna blow up the door.
All right, they couldn't resist putting another Death Star in because it was like it's the last of the Death Star technology. We have a loose cannon that can just blow a hole to your door. Bo Dameron's like loose cannon, you said.
I'll blow it up.
My speciality.
Sounds like I have a character arc to finish.
And so they get into a bunch of these like snow speeder things, but they're hook speeders.
So wait, are you telling me Poe actually did change by the end?
Yes, because he wasn't a loose cannon.
No,
because
yeah,
he said,
he was like,
your lives are too important. We have to let them blow up the door and kill all of us because we literally got told there's no way out.
Yeah.
Which was fucking stupid. So
It
anyway,
didn't seem to change. Also, I don't know why he would have, because he saw the plan that was the non-loose cannon plan not work.
Yeah, he was right by the end of it.
yeah, he was right. So anyway, so they go and they try to blow up a loose cannon and they fail. And Finn's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to blow up the loose cannon because literally we'll all die if we don't.
And that's an interesting, like in that moment,
then-
I was like, Finn could die here. I was like,
Yeah,
this
same here. I was
would-
like, oh, Finn's dead.
I was like, this would be interesting. Like, there's a character that I care about from the first movie. This could be like oh, he's dead. He gives himself to the cause.
He never sees Rey again.
Especially since sacrifice was
Yeah,
a
and
huge
he
part of
never
it.
sees Rey again.
Yeah.
Like, and also sacrifice was established from the beginning. That Asian girl sacrifices herself to blow up the thing.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern sacrifices herself to blow up those
That was
stars.
pretty cool.
And
So
then
there's,
in my head, I
two
was like,
sacrifices. So it's like, oh, Finn's gonna sacrifice himself. A character that actually matters, not a nameless Asian girl and Laura Dern.
Laura Dern, yeah.
and then no.
And then for
And
some
then an
reason,
Asian girl sidesteps
somehow
the
she spikes
T-bone.
him out of the way.
Even though, how is she going faster than him? Why would he not be going at top speed? Why
He
would
was.
So how did she get to the side of him?
I don't know.
He was going max speed to blow up the loose cannon, and then the Asian girl just comes out of nowhere and T-bones
Also, he
him.
wanted to do it. He wanted to do it. He was like, I'm gonna save the world.
And then an Asian girl's like,
Unless, like, here's the thing. Like, I would have been okay with her saving his life if it was like, Finn, you idiot, that wouldn't have done anything. If, like, that was, like,
but
saved.
it would have done something.
But it would have. The movie never told us that it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
The movie was like, oh, yeah, that's building. It's like, that's gonna
And
that's
then
So he
like-
goes up to the Asian girl and she says, "Oh, it's not about killing what you hate. It's about saving what you love." And then she
Yeah.
kisses him, and even Finn is like, "Why did you do that?"
It's a very dispassionate...
I'm in love with a Jedi. You think you have a fat Asian girl has anything to do with it? Has anything? You think a fat Asian girl can possibly compete with a fucking Jedi?
That looks like Daisy Ridley.
Did you see you were not there when she beat Kylo Ren's ass. I was there. She pulled a lightsaber out of
the snow, dude.
She pulled it out of the snow with her brain. What have you done? You talked about a horse.
You complained the whole time.
Yeah, you complained the whole time. Daisy Ridley had a lightsaber.
You ruined my death. Now I have to be in the next movie. I so thought that I thought she was completely dead to the fact that when Finn brought her into the little
she
hole,
would just be dead.
No, that I was like, who is that? Who's he dragging? Is that someone else? Is that Poe Dameron? Is he out there?
So
I was, and then it was like, oh, she's alive. What? How?
Who let that happen? So no, it's supposed to bookend because Finn's in love with Rey, and then Rey saves Finn, and that girl's in love with Finn, so Finn saves her. Oh. And then in the next one, someone's gonna be in love with the Asian girl and then almost die, and she's gonna save it.
No. Rey's gonna be in love with the Asian girl.
Oh snap! Love triangle.
That's love triangle, dude.
It's perfect.
Poe's gonna keep fucking his droid.
Yeah, dude.
All right. So anyway, we get to the point where Luke Skywalker's like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm gonna go kick Kylo Ren's ass. I'm sick of his bullshit. He's being a baby. I'm gonna go kick his ass.
And then Poe out of nowhere's like, he's stalling. Like he understands.
Even though Luke Skywalker told Leia, "I'm here specifically to go kick Kylo Ren's ass. I'm gonna go murder him."
And then Poe's like,
yeah, he could have told them that he's gonna go stall, because I mean, it's not like they had like a.
He could have said, "We're gonna go stall," or he can go be like, "Oh, you guys don't have to escape because I'm gonna go murder Kylo Ren and blow up all those things." So anyway, he goes out there.
Get shot.
And then Kylo Ren, in a really, really cool scene, Kylo Ren's like, "Go blow him up. I don't give a fuck. Shoot everything at him." And they shoot everything at him, and Luke Skywalker's fine. He does a cool, he does one of those, and it's really cool. And then he fights Kylo Ren for 2 seconds, and then Kylo Ren's like, "This is bullshit. I'm gonna fucking kill you." And Luke Skywalker is like, "I'm fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi now."
That's me, dude.
I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have to do the same thing that Obi-Wan Kenobi did to me.
He doesn't say the exact same thing as Obi-Wan Kenobi, does he?
No, not
he says he says something different where he's if you kill me in anger, I will always be with you, or something
just like
that.
Your father. I'll haunt you forever.
Which that was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I was like, okay, cool. He's gonna die.
So,
then it turns out that he's a hologram. That he's a Force hologram.
And then I was like, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool because now Luke Skywalker's gonna be in the next one. And then also he tricked him. That explains why the things weren't able to
He also has a setup line where he's like, "Oh, I'll see you soon."
They also set it up because his footprints are not making red marks at all.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, when they did that, I was like, I saw that, and I was like,
because
they went above.
They went out of their way.
He also had his old blue lightsaber, which exploded.
They went out of their way to show that Kylo's feet were making red marks.
And they go out of their way to show that his aren't.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was just like, oh, he's floating above the.
And that's so much more frustrating for Kylo Ren because it's like, you fucking tricked me.
So they set up that Luke won this fight because he
in a battle of wits, which is what being a Jedi is all about. Yes. It's not brawn, it's being smarter and more calm and patient and nicer than your opponent.
Brian, what happens to Luke after this battle?
So Luke Skywalker is like, "Oh, I have a great idea. I'm gonna turn into a fart," and then he dies.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. It kind of ruined the whole hologram thing altogether. It's like,
he could have just gone and gotten cut.
Yeah,
maybe Ryan Johnson realized you didn't have a spaceship. There's no way he could have gotten there. I want to turn him into a fart. It completely got rid of all that.
Why did he die?
Because he decided to. No,
I don't understand.
Daisy really says because he was at peace, even though Kylo Ren isn't dead and all the rebels are struggling and it's not sure if they're gonna win.
Also, the last couple shots of his face is him looking very at peace. He looks like he's in a lot of pain and that he's struggling.
Yeah, he looked like he had to run, so he had to get to a toilet.
I'm gonna turn to a fart.
Somebody help me! Someone help me! I'm gonna turn into a fart. It's gonna happen.
Porgs, where are you? Where are you? I'm gonna die.
Here's the thing. So Obi-Wan Kenobi dies because he's like, Luke Skywalker can't progress as long as I'm alive. He's not gonna get better. I have to die for him to get better. That's not the case for Rey.
No.
He has to stay alive to help train Rey and to help fight. They need him.
You just gotta teach yourself, dude.
Especially now, they need him more than ever. It's not the same as with Obi-Wan. It's a completely different situation, and then he turns into a fart.
Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, okay, he turned into a fart. Is he dead though? Because I don't know. It's like it's Star Wars. I don't know what crap is a lot of the time.
For a second I was like,
and then Leia's like, oh, he's dead. I felt it, and I'm like, what?
So the end of the movie is they're all on the Millennium Falcon, and they're
All
like
12 people who are left in the rebellion.
and they're all like, we're fucked. And Kylo Ren is like, we're fucked. And Hux is like, we're fucked. And everyone is like, oh shit, we're fucked.
The next movie's gonna start,
and then
it's
they're
gonna be
like, how do we build a rebellion from this?
And then they cut to Oliver Twist.
And then they cut.
So Oliver Twist is in the movie. So when they help free all those horses, there's a kid who's literally dressed like Oliver Twist. He's wearing a dirty vest and a hat.
Oliver Twist meets the kid with that in the Star Wars lightsaber video.
And so at the end of the movie, Oliver
a
Twist is like, all right, sweet, I'm going to talk about Luke Skywalker he's talked to about Luke Skywalker.
About an event that, how does anyone know about that? Like, how do those kids know about that event?
Dude, he sensed it with the Force.
So he walks outside and then he force pulls a broom to him, and then he looks at space, and then the movie ends.
So, do you think the next movie is going to start with Kylo Ren being like, I can't believe that dirty Luke Skywalker tricked me, I feel like such an idiot in front of all my friends. You know, and then somebody's like, oh, message for you, Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker's actually... Luke Skywalker's so far, he died, and he was just like, I did it. I was the one, I did it.
So I want to say, like...
I had to go so hard, like, they became a fart.
Like... This movie felt like a reboot almost. Like I said it to Sam Slade before you got here, Brian, but I
didn't watching the movie that it was totally different. I would at least say every plotline was different than anything I've seen in Star Wars.
That's not what I want from a mainline trilogy movie, though. Like I don't want something that's
also it's done in a bad way. We literally just explained how all those
done in a bad
terrible.
way. I'm just saying I'm glad it did that though. In general, like
I'm not glad because it made a bad movie.
It's gonna be bad either way. Like if it was just Empire again, it would be bad. I'm saying I'm glad they at least tried to do something different. I'm not saying it's good because they did that. I'm saying I'd rather have a different story every time than Rogue One. Every single time it's stupid when it's the same. If they keep doing
Rogue One tried to be different, it was awful.
No,
this one tried to be different, it was awful.
Rogue One wasn't trying to be different though. It was all the same. It was all the same. Everything in it felt like every other Star Wars movie. This one didn't. It was still bad, but I'm saying I'm glad they did that instead of it being Marvel, where it's like every single movie is going to be the same movie forever. Or at least maybe it's like, oh, if the next one's even more different, or it's different than the last one, the one I didn't like, it can be good again.
Wow, it's almost like these giant multi-million-dollar movies don't work when you make
No, they don't. They absolutely don't. But if I'm not saying they're gonna keep making them different. I'm saying if they do though, it's better odds that we'll get a good movie.
Remember so you know how like. So X-Men, right? X-Men was doing real shitty. X-Men was in the gutter, and X-Men Apocalypse was fucking terrible. And was awful and dumb.
There will be no more sticks!
And then you get Deadpool, which is completely different. And it's like, that's fucking sweet. And then you get Logers, which is completely different. It's like, wow, Fox is really experimenting. And then you get New Mutants. It's like, it's a fucking horror movie? Holy shit, they're doing so much creative stuff. And then Disney buys Fox.
Yep. But the thing...
We're gonna get this shit again.
The thing about all of those is that, like, they're fringe things. Like, Deadpool's a fringe thing.
Deadpool is like a filthy screwball comedy.
Yeah.
Logan's a serious drama. And then you have New Mutants, which is gonna be a horror movie.
Sam's like, my thing isn't that, like, I don't want Star Wars movies to be different. I don't think you can deviate that much from a mainline trilogy movie. Like, I don't think now, in the middle of a fucking new trilogy,
I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that, like, at least it was a new story. Like, the plot lines, whether they were good or not,
so you like
they were different.
So you like that they made the jump, even though they fell on their face and busted all their teeth.
That's what I'm saying.
And fucked their faces.
I'm saying don't make the jump if you can't land it.
I'm saying they weren't going to land it either way then. Like, if they were going to make this movie, it was going to be Empire, but worse. You know, that's all it would be.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I'm saying I would hate that more. Especially because Force Awakens barely got away with that.
I can't say I'd hate it more.
Force Awakens was an entertaining movie.
Yeah. But I'm saying it got away with it that one time because it was entertaining. I don't think they could keep that up, especially if every single one was the same thing. Especially if it was like Marvel and it was like, oh, they just did The Force Awakens again? Which could have easily have happened. Think about that. You know, they totally fell on their face jumping towards something new. I think that's better than them falling on their face on the same thing.
Remember how Disney was so impressed by this movie they gave Rian Johnson his own trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really curious about that.
It's probably about that new broomstick kid.
Yeah, broomstick kid.
Yeah.
They were setting it up.
And the Asian.
All right, so
Wait.
here's another thing. So Han Solo suddenly has a set of gold dice, which are definitely gonna play in the Han Solo movie.
They just throw that in.
Yeah,
They just decide that Han Solo has gold dice, which he's never had before. They didn't have him grab any of Han Solo's super iconic stuff, like his old jacket
Or his blaster.
Well, his blaster fell down the hole, dude, when he got stabbed.
Right, yeah. He couldn't have a spare one. That'd be ridiculous.
They just decided that he has a set of gold dice that he's always had that's never been shown ever.
Right, but
They're
it's definitely-
Yeah, I was very confused by that.
Well, dude, it's set
They
up for the Han Solo
belong to
Solo
Han
movie.
Solo. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
supposedly.
So the thing is, if they wanted to do that, they should have put the Han Solo movie out before this one.
Yeah, that would.
You can't put the gold dice in after because that doesn't make any fucking sense because it wasn't in any of the other movies.
No, it
would be great.
would have been like having the Thor movie come out before the Avengers.
I would love it. I would love it if those gold dice did not show up in the
I
Han
mean,
Solo
the
movie, and then you're
Avengers
just like,
come out
what
before
is
the Thor.
that?
Also, those gold dice disappeared at the end. Remember when they were a hologram? What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, then where'd the gold dice go? That's very important.
Leia has them, dude.
Does she?
No.
So now they get to do the fun
No.
thing of killing Leia off screen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they didn't do that. They didn't do their homework.
No. Ryan Johnson did not read the news.
Well, dude, they were like, J.J. Abrams directs Episode 9 after they fire Colin Trevorrow. And
No,
he's like,
but
well, then fine, I'm going to make it as difficult
honestly,
for him as possible.
it felt like Ryan Johnson really wanted to do something different from what it felt like he didn't like the direction J.J. Abrams had put it in, which
This movie was too fun.
I here's another thing. The movie tonally was all over the place. There were parts where it wanted to be a
Oh, this
slapstick.
movie's super unfocused and weird.
There were parts where it wanted to be a slapstick
Well, there's so many
comedy.
storylines.
And then there were other parts where it
Way
wants to be
too
this
many.
really serious and violent drama. Like,
Yeah, it's weird because Force Awakens was just one storyline.
yeah.
It was Finn and Rey for the first 20 minutes, then they converge together, and then it's just them. I guess it is too because they
Which,
separate.
Sam said,
again.
I would say that in a way this does do what Empire does, just more terribly. Like, Empire does that that diverging story arc thing. Like, this is still just Empire, it's just reversed and has more story
It
on
has
it.
off at the end.
Like, I won't even, I don't think this is that different. It still does the Empire thing.
That's true. It's also like Empire because she's separated to get trained. The rebels are doing their own thing.
It's like Ryan Johnson was like, let's make Empire, but let's try to make it better. Like, let's make it let's make it edgier, and let's make it 4 hours
But it
long.
isn't
I meant
edgy at all
that
because no one
the
dies.
plot lines in it, even though they're bad, were different. Like, they're not things I've seen in Star Wars. Like, you were saying the Casino Planet. Like, that's something I haven't seen in Star Wars going. Like, that whole plot line itself where it's like, oh, we have to heist our way in. Or we have to hack our way in, or whatever. Oh, we have limited fuel. It's like a drama on a ship. Oh, okay, and then there's a train story, which is the same, but it's like with a different sort of character.
All those could have been interesting.
They
if
all could
just
have been
focused
interesting.
on one of them.
But they aren't. And that's what I'm saying, is that it could be interesting because those are all different. Like, when all those plot lines started, I was like, okay, these could all be good. And then they didn't, 'Cause
Kevin, get out of here.
what are you doing?
Why are you here?
You don't need to be in the video, or you're not in this video.
You weren't
Kevin.
invited.
gotta
You
get out.
don't like Star Wars.
Too late, dude.
You don't like Star Wars, dude. We don't want to do it with you. You got to get the fuck out of here. All right, we're recording a video. Stop interrupting us.
Asshole.
I fucking hate that guy. Kevin, get out of
Just
here.
leave.
We already told you to leave.
Gosh.
You hate Star Wars. We love Star Wars. Every review for
He
Star
hates it
Wars
so
we've made,
much.
we like it. We like Star Wars more than you. Get out.
Oh. I guess I'll see you guys at the Uncle Mickey film episode award show extravaganza thing. Yeah.
That's so difficult every time we have to do that.
Such a fucking hassle.
So
Such a
SpaceX.
fucking hassle. I'd give it
Well,
So
I
I-
already gave it a 0. No Lando, please.
my actual review of it, like most baseline I can give is it has some entertaining parts. It picks up like the second half.
when the
of
movie
it,
starts, it picks up.
the second half of it, yeah. When the movie actually starts, it's like, all right, like it gets cartoonish and there's some wacky stuff. There's some stuff that doesn't make sense, but at least what's happening on screen is like visually enjoyable. Where it's like, oh, you got these cool action scenes involving characters I care about, and they're well choreographed and they look good. Once that starts happening, it's like, all right, I kind of like that, but
So show up to the movie an hour and a half in.
for most of the movie, it's boring. There's a lot of story arcs I don't care about, and there's a lot of story like I feel this. I understand why a lot of Star Wars fans aren't liking it. Like it's not just that it's taking it in a new direction. Like I think that's inaccurate. Like I don't think that Star Wars going in a different direction is a bad thing, which is what I feel like a lot of people are gonna say. Like people are gonna blame what you were saying that you liked about it as being the fault of the movie. That's not it. What is wrong with this movie is not that it did something different, but it's that it did it completely.
It did it sloppily and poorly.
Without any care or
They
intelligence.
just dip their toes in, but they never dive in completely.
Every interesting idea that they have, they just
Chicken out.
They trip over themselves.
Well, it's like they introduced the idea and it's like, that's good enough. We already told them the cool idea.
My
So
space eggs, I think I'd give like
Out of 12.
3.
How much is it out of?
12.
Okay, 12. I give it 12 space eggs.
Alright, so 12 plus 3 is 15 out of...
It's a good review, dude.
15 out of what? Out of... What's 3 times 12?
36.
36? 15 out of 30... Okay.
That's less than a.
You know, that's
less
a
than
C.
50.
It's not a
No,
C.
that's-
That's it.
That's a C
still an
minus.
F.
Less than 50%'s an F.
Dang, I was hoping it was going to be positive.
So anyway,
Go
thank
see
you guys
it.
for watching. If you guys liked the movie,
You're gonna see it no matter what. So. it
well,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
no, everyone's gonna see the movie. The Porgs are cute.
Porgs are cute.
The Porgs are very
The
cute.
Porgs get a 10 out
Watch
of 10.
next video.
Oh, dude, they get a 6 out of 5 cuteness level.
They do get a 6
Next
out of 10.
video you see, Kevin's gonna be wearing a Porg shirt. Alex gonna be wearing a Porg hat. Sam
Yeah.
Slade's gonna be wearing Porg
And
pajamas.
Brian will be a Porg.
And I will be a Porg. Or at the very least, I'll have a Porg plushie that's as big as me. So I'll place it in front of me and I'll talk
And
behind
you'll just
it.
do the voice acting.
Yeah, and I'll do the. I'll
and you'll
ADR
get like,
Porg.
Wah!
It'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I expect a lot of Porg merchandise in the next one.
And those cool, fluffy dog horse things that they
weren't-
saved.
Oh yeah, and the not fluffy dog things, the ice
The-
things.
Oh
This
yeah,
is ice.
those are all going to be really cool toys
Yeah.
one day. Or
They're
now,
all gonna be
actually,
cool.
probably.
Remember?
Why
did that one soldier just be like, salt?
Oh, we actually had this
yeah,
whole
we had this
conversation.
conversation on the way
So
back.
Mackenzie was like, so they put that scene in the movie because people watched the trailer and they're like, why is there a bunch of red stuff? That's really confusing. So they just had a soldier go, salt. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, that's private exposition. He was like, hey guys, I'm private exposition. I'm gonna pause the movie here for a second. So
I
there's
think
gonna
Private Exposition did a poor job because I was like, salt, what does that mean?
so
He's
private
definitely no exposition, Jerry.
so private
No
ex-
exposition,
no.
Jerry.
So private
He
ex-
was like salt on this planet.
So
it's
pri-
red because of the, he would go.
so like a focus group saw the movie and they were like, why is there red? I'm confused. So they put private
They're like, the
exposition.
theme of the movie is red, idiot.
And the private exposition is like, hey guys, I'm private exposition.
When I saw it-
I'm here to tell you guys why there's gonna be so much red in this scene. You see, in space, salt is red. And we're on a planet where there's a ton of salt. So I'm private exposition. I'm gonna let you guys get back to the movie. I hope my boy Finn, I hope he gets out of this. And Rey, man, I wonder what's gonna go on with her. I hope she gets that mean old Kylo. Anyway, back to the movie. I'm gonna go shoot some bad guys. I love you guys. love
I
you
always
guys.
thought it was
It's
just the
salt.
ships.
It's salt.
I thought the ships did that. Like in the trailer, I was like, oh, are the ships like?
I hate this fucking movie.